You've heard the name Jeffrey Epstein. You've seen the headlines. You know the crimes. But what I but what if I told you that long before the money, before the mansions, before the private jets, there was a lie, a simple one, a lie about his education, a lie that helped open doors, put him in positions of trust, and ultimately helped build the image that allowed everything else to follow. Tonight, we're going to read directly from the documents, no commentary, no spin, and break down exactly what Epstein claimed and what the records actually show. And then we're going to zoom out because this isn't just about Epstein. It's about something bigger, how powerful people shape perception, how credibility is constructed, and what happens when the truth doesn't match the story. Let's get into the documents. He said he was a college graduate, but no further details were indicated. He was employed as a physics and math teacher. He did a good job. He had a good attendance, punctuality record, and was dependable, cooperative, and honest. He had leadership and supervisory abilities. And then it states who he was supervised by, and then it says he was laid off due to personnel cutbacks, but is eligible for rehire. On May 3rd, 1976, there was a supplement report where at the New York University Bursar's office, Mr. Bazatna advised the following regarding the applicant. Initially, a check in the amount of $1,080 was received by the university, but it was returned with a notice that there was insufficient funds to cover the amount. The applicant then entered into an agreement with the university. A promissory arrangement was made to pay the amount. When he defaulted, the university instituted legal proceedings. Source said that satisfactory papers had been filed. It was suggested we contact Curtis Ettinger, the school attorney, for further details. Mr. Curtis Ettinger advised the matter had been settled. The initial payment check marked as having insufficient funds was not in the applicant's name, but in the name of a redacted individual. When the check did not clear, Mr. Ettinger contacted applicants, redacted, who advised the applicant was in Europe. Further action was delayed and subsequently made a partial payment of $345. Now, we do not know who made that payment because it is redacted. The matter, however, was still not resolved, and legal proceedings were instituted in the New York County Civil Court in December 1975. The matter was finally resolved in December 1975 when satisfaction paper was filed. But it says, please be advised that Mr. Epstein is employed at Bear Stearns and Company at a salary of $75,000 a year. Should you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. So this appears to be a letter of proof of income. And then here we see there is a letter from Bear Stearns to the New York University, the registrar's department, to whom it may concern. Jeffrey has applied to us for a position claiming attendance at your school from September 1966 to June 1970, BS degree. I assume BS degree means bullshit degree. We shall appreciate your giving us any information you can as to scholastic standing, personality, background, etc. of this applicant. For your convenience in replying, we're enclosing a self-addressed stamped envelope. Thank you in advance for your cooperation. And then the New York University responds, to whom it may concern. This is to certify that Jeffrey Epstein, whose date of birth is January 20th, 1950, was registered as a non-degree student in the Graduate School of Arts and Science, Department of Music from September 1971 to May 1974. Mr. Epstein did not receive a degree from the New York University. In the spring of 1974 semester, Mr. Epstein had issued an invalid check to our Bursar's office. And then here is his New York University mathematics record. I tried to make sense of this. You can see he's taken a lot of mathematical courses, Introduction to Math Analysis, Differential Geometry, Probability, but the grades are a little weird. So I assume over here is the GPA points you get here, and they're crossed out on a lot of them. IF, I looked up, and at that time, IF indicated failed. and then there's a withdrawal. So if you know anything more about grading, if you're a teacher and any of this stuff makes any sense to you, please put it in the comments. I would like to know if we can make any sense of these grades. Bear Stearns says, to whom it may concern, I hereby authorize the release of the information requested to the attached form to my employer, Bear Stearns and Company, signed by Jeffrey Epstein. He's authorizing them to do a background check. And then this here, I'm not really sure which institution this came from, if it was from his employer or his school. There's really hard. There's nothing you can really see here, but it does say transfer termination, and termination is circled. And then this document, NYU, not graduated. So I don't know where this document came from, but this was in the PDF. So I'm going to share that. He did not graduate from NYU.
So here I am, great schools, great brain, great success. I went to an Ivy League school. I'm very highly educated. And I was a good student. I always hear about the elite. You know, the elite, they're elite. I went to better schools than they did. I was a better student than they were. But I was first in my class at the Wharton School of Finance.
Here's an article that was published by Forbes back in 2019 when Trump's personal attorney, Michael Cohen, testified in front of the House Oversight Committee. Yesterday, as part of his testimony to Congress, Michael Cohen revealed that under the direction of President Trump, he had sent letters to Trump's high school, colleges, and college board, threatening them with legal action and jail time if they ever released Trump's academic records. Cohen provided a record of one such letter sent to the president of Fordham University, which Trump attended for 2 years before transferring to complete his undergraduate degree at the Wharton School of University of Pennsylvania. Trump's high school has confirmed receiving an identical letter, while the University of Pennsylvania and the College Board declined to comment. It's worth mentioning that letters like this are entirely unnecessary. Under FERPA, disclosing academic records without the student's written permission is pretty much the most illegal thing you can do with these records. Still, there are a few reasons why it makes sense that Trump would have been so concerned about his transcripts and standardized test scores being released. Number one, Trump criticized Obama's academic record, but his is similar. Trump and Obama actually had very similar undergraduate experiences. Both went to less competitive, but still prestigious schools, Fordham and Occidental, for their first 2 years, then transferred to and received their bachelor's degree from Ivy League schools, Penn and Columbia, respectively. Neither of them graduated with honors, although the way that many schools determine honors can often make it difficult for transfer students to receive them. Moreover, both Trump and Obama seem to have kept their heads down. Trump publicly criticized Obama for not being remembered by many of his Columbia classmates, although the same is true of him and Wharton. Although Obama then went on to graduate, magna cum laude, from Harvard Law, while Trump did not go to grad school. Trump has a reputation of projection, so it's reasonable to think that his vocal criticism of Obama's presumed academic record are more similar to his own record than he'd admit. For one thing, he questions how Obama could have gained admission into an Ivy League school when his own admission to Penn was due to large part to his personal family connections. And number two, Trump lied about graduating first in his class. Trump has repeatedly claimed and allowed the media outlets to report on his behalf that he graduated first in his class from the Wharton School at Penn. In fact, it wasn't close. Trump graduated without honors. Some schools base honors on the GPA percentile, but Wharton bases them simply on the GPA, which means that in order to graduate with honors, his GPA had to have been less than 3.4, or else that he was sanctioned for academic integrity or student conduct violations. What's interesting about this is that it's not the GPA itself, but the lie that Trump may have been concerned about. Trump's college GPA wasn't a big deal until he made it a big deal by speculating about Obama's GPA, lying about his own records, and threatening his school if they released them. And number three, Trump thinks grades are more important than they actually are. While researching this article, I fell down a rabbit hole of articles, blog posts, and forum threads arguing about the academic records of various presidents. There are a lot of these posts and articles, and a lot of people doing deep dives into decades old honor policies and yearbooks. As someone who works in education consulting, coaching high school and college students on how to make the most of their education and prepare for the real world, it's disheartening to see so much speculation about academic records of public figures who have surely built reputations that are far more important than their college degrees. A lot of this speculation was based on Trump's own claims, both about his own records and Obama's. And to me, it's disheartening that a 72-year-old man is still worried about his high school and college grades and comparing them to others. One of the founding principles of my company, and what helped me get into Yale, is that grades are far less important to future success, including admission to Ivy League schools, than people think they are. It's similar to Trump's obsession with his own IQ. It's a metric that is largely meaningless, can be self-reported with no real way of fact-checking it, and can be used to dismiss other people without engaging with their ideas directly. At the end of the day, GPA is far less important for future success and important for a much smaller time in a person's life than their strength of character, honesty, and work ethic. And in that instance, he doesn't have a very good strength of character, honesty, and work ethic either. So what we just read is not speculation. It's not commentary, and it's not someone's opinion. It's a document, one that shows Jeffrey Epstein misrepresented his academic credentials in order to gain credibility, status, and ultimately access. And that matters because when you strip everything else away, the money, the connection, the influence, what you're left with is a pattern of manufactured legitimacy, a pattern of people positioning themselves as more educated, more qualified, more trustworthy than they actually are, to open doors that should have never been opened. And that's where this stops being about one man, because history has shown us over and over again that powerful individuals don't just rely on truth to elevate themselves. Sometimes they rely on perception, on image, on carefully constructing narratives about who they are. And when those narratives are challenged, when records are questioned, when documents are requested, when transparency is demanded, the response is often delay, deny, deflect, and control the information. No, I'm not here to tell you what I think. I'm here to show you the documents, to put the information in front of you, unaltered, unfiltered, and let you ask the questions that matter. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about credentials. It's about credibility. And once that starts to crack, everything built on top of it deserves a closer look.
I just want to say thank you. Nothing more, no play. I appreciate